You've probably noticed this week, especially, that your mind has been racing incessantly, or maybe that your anxiety is through the roof. It's as though you don't even recognize yourself and you're feeling completely lost. And I can definitely relate to that because I went through my fair share of things as well. The first thing I want to tell you is that this is not happening haphazardly. It's happening because a change is afoot. Something big is coming. But before it does, there are some changes that need to happen within you first. Right now, it feels like the carpet has been completely pulled from underneath you and you've collapsed onto the ground, like backflipped onto the ground. And then you have those little birds flying all around you. And you look around and your life is the same. The room hasn't changed. So, what could this be? Because it doesn't make sense. Why are you going through so much when your life doesn't seem to be reflecting that? I'll tell you, it's because you're being asked to shed an old layer of your skin, which is to say, you're being asked to shed that old version of who you once were. You've lived your entire life up to this point, getting a good idea of what it's like to create an outcome that you wish to create. Even though a lot of them you didn't really want to create, you were producing these outcomes from a place of fear. So, an example might be that you had an idea to work at a job or to date somebody, even though you weren't really feeling it. And then you acted on that thought or that idea, and you eventually saw that you were capable of yielding the result that you wanted to yield. If I do this, then this guy will fall in love with me. So, you were following these rules that weren't really authentically you, but it still gave you a good idea of what it's like to create the outcome that you wish to create. You could think of them as the mechanics or the inner workings of what goes into producing a certain outcome. But now the game has completely flipped on its head. Your world has completely turned upside down and you're feeling discombobulated, you're feeling unsettled, you're feeling disoriented, and you're especially feeling lost. So, why is that? It's because it's all about you beginning to trust your heart. So, you might be looking for certainty right now. You might be calling your friends all day long because you're spiraling and you're asking them, or you're asking your boyfriend or your girlfriend, what should I do? What's my next move? When's my career going to take off? So you're craving certainty, which is completely understandable because that's what we do as humans. We want to be reassured, we want to be comforted. But I have news for you. The certainty that you're looking for is no longer going to be offered to you by the universe. It's just not, because the old way of doing things is now obsolete. It's not going to work in your favor anymore. As a matter of fact, it probably never did, because you find yourself here today watching this video still being lost. So, what does that tell you? It tells you that your approach up to this point was fine. You were doing the best that you could, but it wasn't really the truest version of yourself. The truest version of yourself implicitly trusts that the universe has its back. The truest version of yourself doesn't need evidence. Oh, when is this going to happen? The truest version of yourself will follow your heart. You will follow your heart and know beyond the shadow of a doubt that everything that's intended for you will fall into place in perfect time. You can call that divine timing. So think of it like this. Before, you asked a million questions and you would get answers. Now it's exacerbating how you feel. It's causing you to spiral more because you wanting certainty, listen closely, you wanting certainty is actually coming from a place of distrust. Every question you're asking your friends, every question you're asking your partner or your mom or your dad is coming from a place of distrust. It's coming from the old way of operating. And now you're being asked to step into this new version of yourself that instead of asking the question, just go, I'm going to trust now. I'm going to drop into my heart and I'm going to feel my feelings. Because most of the time when you're talking, it's just your mind. It's your neurotic mind, which all of us are guilty of. We live in a very neurotic world, and you have to keep in mind that your mind is feeding on your energy. It drops all these thoughts into your mind, and then you call your friends, oh my God, I just think that this is going to happen to me. This horrible thing's going to happen to me. So basically, you're constantly taking the bait with whatever it is that your mind sends you. That's the old way of doing things. Now you're switching it up. Now you're going, I'm not going to give my power to these thoughts because they're only going to cause me to spiral. Now I need to relinquish my control. Now I need to learn how to trust more. So this is all about you fixing your trust issues. That's what it really boils down to. The reason why you ask all these questions all the time is because you don't trust yourself. And you also don't trust that the universe will bring you what's meant for you in perfect time. So I want you to try this week to relinquish your control. Let go of the need to know. This is so hard to do. I'm telling you because I've been witnessing this with myself firsthand. It's so difficult to do. But try not to take the bait when it comes to these intrusive thoughts that only want to make you feel worse. Try to love yourself instead. Try to be kind to yourself instead. And every time you're thinking of speaking that thought into existence, which is only going to worsen your day, say, I'm not going to do that right now. I'm going to drop into my heart and I'm going to trust because I'm ready to step into this new version of myself and I'm ready to achieve my highest potential in this life. I mean, obviously, you can keep doing what you've been doing, but how's that working out for you? You're still suffering. You're still needing to know. So instead, I want you to let go of the need to know and trust that something amazing is around the corner if you just let go. This is your preparatory phase. You're being prepared for something huge. But before this thing can arrive into your life, you have to be in your heart. Because if you're not in your heart, how are you going to be able to receive it, let alone see it? How can you receive love? How can you see your soulmate when they walk by you if you're so caught up in your mind all the time? Neurotically thinking about what you're doing wrong with your life or why your life is not panning out the way that you wanted to. How? You're going to miss every opportunity. You're going to miss everything. So, what you want to do is prepare yourself right now. Try to have less on your plate. So, I'm not suggesting that you quit your job. I'm not suggesting that you stop doing what you're doing. What I am saying is try not to overwhelm yourself right now. Try to minimize what you can minimize. So maybe it's like you call your friends every day. Do you really need to do that? Maybe you can minimize that. Or maybe you've been working 50 hours a week. Can you reduce that to maybe 35? This way you can really start hearing yourself again. Because what we want to do is reconnect you to your heart so that you can step into this new version of yourself. So this coming week, it's not going to be easy, I'm telling you. You're finding yourself grasping at straws because you're attempting to hold on to the old. But that old approach, that old way of operating is not going to work for you any longer, I assure you. So you got this. All you have to do is open up your heart and believe in yourself. And every time you find yourself speaking a thought that's not really you, ask yourself in that moment, am I really trusting? Or am I trying to control it? You're trying to control it because that's all you've known your entire life. That's what gave you the results that you wanted, even though they weren't really the results that you would have wanted if you had followed your heart. You would have probably followed a completely different path. So hang in there. Don't lose hope. It's all going to work out. You're being prepared for something incredible.